It's not bad.
Got some momentum.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need just some momentum.
Yep.
And I don't know why my OBS is fucking. Can this get out of my way? My OBS is being retarded. Oh, I forgot that always needs to be up. We're just frozen for a second, but now we're live. Okay, at least we should be. Okay, we're up. Let me. Oh wait, I'm gonna change. What's the date? Today's July.
July 2nd.
July 2nd. All right, so right now I have NBA playoffs, Washington football team,
Yeah.
and Josh Gordon.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Sounds good?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, cool.
The only other thing I could think of is that the track runner, they
Oh,
got
yeah,
like
we can talk about
banned
that.
because of the drug test.
Yeah. Do you know her name?
No, I'm trying to find it.
It's fine. Like
Sha'Carri Richardson.
What's it? How do you spell it?
Sha'Carri.
Can
SHA.
you text it to me?
Apostrophe. Oops. Got it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Right. And we will. I can. What was I gonna say? Get the date. Get the. I'm so stupid. Get the link on my story right now. There we go.
Okay.
I will figure it out how to speak. Why does this? All right, I'm just gonna sign into this because it's being stupid. I hate. Like, do you have a Dell computer? Or like a Microsoft computer? Or do you have like a?
Nah, I have a Mac.
Because they keep trying to like make me sign into these stupid family plan things that I don't want to sign into. Okay. All right. Damn. Did you work today?
Yes, I did. I had 5 people come to the pool in
Damn.
8 hours.
Damn. That sucks. Joseph McDonald said Happy Father's Day. Thanks, Joseph. It says Fader's Day. I don't know why it says Faders. You forgot an H there, Joseph. Unless
It's like
Fader means
2.
something. Is Fader a slur?
Also, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Was 2 weeks ago. Fader's not like a slur. So.
Elementary school principal was named Mr. Fader.
A fader is someone who lives their life according to fate, accepting the outcome of only possible events. Well, there seem like a bunch of losers. All right. Let's, you want to get started?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get started then. Let me actually press record, and then we can get started. Joseph also asks, why is this on slow mode? What does that mean, Joseph? And if you know what that means, let us know. Because I have no idea.
I think he's on slow mode.
I don't know. It is a little off, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Is it a little off? Cannot tell. But I see, like, there's no settings for slow mode. So if he wants to type it out before we get started, that'd be great. But
Why is on slow mode?
Why is on slow mode? Why is you on slow mode, Joseph? You can't really type today. I don't know. There's nothing. I have to wait like 40 seconds between each comment. I also said the first one late. I don't know if.
So it's actually him.
Oh, no. It says slow mode is on. How do I change that? Let me check. I know what he's saying.
Okay.
About chat participants. It's Joseph and I. Slow mode is on. How do I change that? How do I turn off slow mode? That's weird. Webcam. What's this with me? Just kidding. I don't exit stream.
Is Joseph the only
wait.
one
Here,
no.
Live chat, live replay, slow mode. No, I don't need slow mode. All right, I turned it off. It was 60 seconds.
There we go.
Should be off now, Joseph. Thanks for letting us know.
There we go.
That's why our comments were, that's why no one was commenting. So. All right.
Do you have the best fans?
Yeah. Yes. Thanks, Joseph. And let's get started off that note. Yeah, let's get started. Let me do my little timer and actually press record. And we'll start now. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
You know, Chris, today's a little sad. Normally, after every pod, I go downstairs and then I watch some playoff basketball. Now, for the first time in a long time, there's no playoff basketball.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
And now it's just like it hit me that it's the beginning of the end.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's also the beginning of the end for our topics.
Yes, our topics of talking.
Content.
And then I realized it was almost the beginning of hopefully another crazy NBA offseason. So there's always a silver lining, but it will suck not to be able to watch the games, especially when the games that are on are pretty poopy.
Yeah, it's just falling apart. We've come like full circle now in these playoffs because we were begging for like all of the best teams to get eliminated and get us some new teams in here, and it happened. And then their players also got hurt, and now it's just like we look stupid. But it is what we wanted, but at the same time, it sucks.
Yeah, it's not our fault. We did want this is what we wanted. We didn't want Giannis to get hurt and also Trae Young to get hurt, and then have Chris Middleton versus Kevin Huerter be the highlight. But last night it seemed like was probably one of the worst star-wise playoff games of all time.
It's got to be. I mean, neither of these teams are playoff teams, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And if they were together, if those teams put together, they're probably at least a playoff team, but they're not a 1 seed, they're not a 2 seed. Not I don't even think they're top 4.
Nah, they're mediocre at best. There's literally not a single Middleton, I guess, is your top guy on the floor, and he's a good number 2, but it's hard to watch.
He's very on and off.
Brook Lopez game was pretty exciting though.
Yes, the Brook Lopez part was pretty nice. And they all played well. Of course, all the Bucks played well, and it's just it's not what we want. We want to see Giannis versus Trae Young, We want to see possibly an upset by the Hawks, and now it just doesn't look like we're gonna get any of that. And if we have no Giannis in the finals too, are we gonna see a sweep in the finals?
I was about to say the worst part is that one of these teams has to play in the finals. We have to
Yeah,
watch them for another at least 4 games.
yeah, and we have to watch one of uh these now like they're a little bummy. They're a little bum teams,
Very bummy.
especially compared to uh the Suns and Chris Paul and Devin Booker and just their firepower. They're the most healthiest. They're the healthiest team in the playoffs left,
Mhm.
and I guess the last we made it here with them being the two healthiest teams, the Hawks and the Bucks, and now neither of them are healthy.
Yep. And I feel like Trae Young has a way better chance of coming back than Giannis does. It seems like Giannis is probably done for the playoffs just because it's a knee.
Yeah.
Trae Young, I feel like he could come back.
The-
I have no idea what the injury actually is. I have that feeling.
The
So hopefully.
the ankle thing is weird because it's like this season we've seen LeBron go down with an ankle. We've seen Trae Young now go down with an ankle. There's been another guy, Kyrie Irving, go down with an ankle. Where every time we're like, oh, it'll be a couple games, and then all of a sudden it's like 2-3 weeks.
hmm And
So
also the thing about Trae Young is like he's so young that they're not
Nah.
going to want to jeopardize his. What?
because he's young, he's so young.
Oh, I didn't.
Come
miss
on,
that.
Chris, you got to pick up on
Brain,
that one.
my brain is working faster than my mouth is. Or the way I don't know. Anyway, like they don't want to jeopardize his future and like try to play him in this game and mess something else up for the long run.
Yeah, their best case scenario, well, their worst case scenario is them playing this game, and then all of a sudden his ankle gets worse, and he's not playing next season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, it is the Eastern Conference Finals, and you don't have seasons like this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's got 15 years ahead of him.
Yeah, no, and he's only 22, and I feel like they could add another piece. They have a pretty good team around him, but
yeah, definitely.
Next superstar that wants to leave, they can either throw in a package or next free agent superstar. Why aren't the Hawks in the conversation? Why wouldn't they be in the conversation?
Yeah, I don't know. They like never. It's always the Knicks.
Yes, it is.
Because the Knicks are like kind of in a similar spot, except didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but like young team on the rise, has space for a star, but they're the Knicks.
And yeah, they're the big market. That's the only thing going. And I don't know why Atlanta's not a big market. I guess it is technically, but it's not. It's no Madison.
They're just losers in Atlanta.
They are. Everyone.
They're all losers. Yeah, they all suck.
Which is sad for the city of Atlanta, but there should be no reason why if Kawhi Leonard wants to leave the Clippers, which I don't know why he would, but if he does, why he wouldn't want to come to Atlanta, or why or the next big free agent, why he wouldn't want to come to Atlanta. So there's hope for the Hawks, but I do think their season is done next game.
Yeah. Well, if Trae plays, I mean, he's still gonna be playing hurt, so. And even if they win the series, they're not gonna beat the Suns in the finals. I don't think.
No, they if I were them, I'd be like, we had a great year, could have made the finals. Trae stepped on the ref.
I'm sick of people like complaining about the ref. Be like, oh, like the ref screwed us. Like the ref was literally just standing there.
No, he was just standing. That was
like, how about you stay in bounds?
It was no one's fault. It was just one of those. It was just one of those injuries, which is why it's funny when like people are like, oh, COVID season. All these teams had to play longer last year, and then there's just freak injuries like Giannis. That injury, that play happens 1,000 times, 50 times a game, 60 times a game, and he just landed wrong, popped his knee. I feel like that was worse than people seem to think it is.
Yeah, it's also the more sad of the injuries, just because the Bucks have been so close sometimes, and like this was the year where the door was wide open and they were actually the favorites like going into the finals, and then it gets hurt, and it's like, I mean, you're gonna have to face the Nets next year again at full strength. You're never gonna get an opportunity like this again. Your star gets hurt.
It sucks for Giannis. This was Giannis's year, where he proves why he got back-to-back MVPs, all the slander, like, oh, he can't win the playoffs. That's where he proves it wrong by winning the finals. But I feel like he will have other championships, but this was supposed to be the start of his
Hmm.
championship run or whatever. How many championships he's supposed to get? He was supposed to get one this year.
Hmm.
I thought.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. You never know. Like maybe he doesn't make it to another championship.
No, and and then you look on the other side of things, and you look at Chris Paul, where he's 36,
Hmm.
and this is his first one, where he's been this amazing player that everyone loves to talk about, and all these stats and all these other players say that he's all this and that, and he's never made the finals. Where
Hmm.
and I just feel like people don't understand that that's okay, like it's okay that this is Chris Paul's first finals, and that Giannis hasn't made the finals yet.
Hmm.
Like they're not all supposed to. I guess what I'm really trying to say is like Trae Young's 22. It shouldn't be held against him that he's not. If they don't make the finals, like he hasn't made the finals yet. It's like he's 22. Like they're not
Yeah.
supposed to make the finals their first 10 years.
Yeah. And yeah, even Giannis is like still relatively pretty young
Yeah, I think he's
compared to the
honestly.
guys
I
that
think
are
he's like
going to the
28,
finals every year. Yeah. 26.
26. Yeah,
I didn't realize he was that young.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 26 years old, he's got still a whole career ahead of him. So,
No, yeah,
but
he's
it
still got a
does
whole
suck.
career ahead of him. It does suck that this was like this could have kicked it off. This could have been the one that started it. But that being said, he's got other teams, other years to win, and if he does come back, there's still a good chance he could win the finals this year. But I
Mhm.
don't know if he's coming back.
I don't think he will. I have just a bad feeling about it.
Yeah.
A healthy Hawks team against the Suns, though, I think would be entertaining. So that's why I'm just praying that Trae Young can come back, because at this point, that's best case scenario.
It would be interesting to see Trae Young versus Chris Paul. I feel like
Mhm.
that would be a really interesting team, and I don't know. I still think the Suns should, with now the 2 injuries, the Suns should win these finals. But it's also funny, you think about it, and it's like you watch the Suns play sometimes, some of these games, and you're like, this team's going to the finals.
Yeah, I know.
You look at all these you look at the Bucks and the Hawks too. It's like one of these teams has to go, has to go to the finals. We are forced to have one of these teams in the
Yeah.
finals. And
It's not like
you
they're
look at
playing for
them-
the 8 seed. They're playing to get into the freaking NBA finals.
Yeah, some of these
Get a
guys,
ring.
they look no better than the Washington Wizards. And it's just like or my Celtics at the end of the year, where they just like they have these random stretches where they're just all terrible. All the teams.
Especially, I feel like in the Bucks Hawks series. Oh, the Suns Clippers actually. Now that I think about it, had Game 4. I think it was just awful.
Yeah, I think it was Game
It's
4 or
like youth
5. That
basketball.
was just terrible. I think it was 4. You're right. Where it was terrible, and I don't know. They go on these stretches where I'm like, no one can hit a shot for over 2 minutes.
Yeah, because none of them have a guy like a Durant or a Curry where it's just like, all right, if we get cold on offense, like we're just gonna feed him the ball and he'll
Yeah,
change that.
exactly.
He'll score.
Exactly. They and Giannis was like the one like Giannis was supposed to be like that, but I feel like
He can't shoot though.
no, he can't. That's the thing. He can't shoot. It's all post moves and it's all alley oops, which are dominating and
Until he
awesome.
forgets how to do it for like 5 minutes.
But then all of a sudden they just don't run it. Like all of a
Yeah.
sudden the Bucks just won't run anything for Giannis to for 5 minutes, and they go down.
And
they're
it's just Middleton elbow jumpers for like half the
yeah,
quarter.
and their 10-point lead gets completely erased in 30 seconds.
Yeah, right. Blink and they're down 2.
Yeah. But the Clippers Suns, I wish I went to I do wish I went to 7. Just because I liked watching. That series was great. That was a great series. And you got to give it up for those Clippers. Like, how do they how do they win 6 games without Kawhi Leonard once? For 1 second of the series.
I don't know. I mean, gotta give it to Paul George.
Hey.
Played good series.
I kind of think it's
aside
underrated.
from the free throws.
Yeah, they would have won the series.
Which is
but,
yeah, right.
But it's
a pretty big part of it.
I feel like no one's talking about how the Phoenix Suns almost lost to this team. They almost lost to this team. If Paul George hits those free throws, they win the series and they're in the NBA Finals without Kawhi Leonard. And what is that? Where does that leave Chris Paul and the Suns? They're just like I don't know. I feel like because I guess they are lucky that they did win the series, so there's not a lot of talk of. But they almost lost, which I feel like is a little underrated aspect of that no one's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, they did kind of flex their muscle in game 6. Like, that was not a close game. I think game 5 was like Clippers were gritty team facing elimination for the first time, and they're like, all right, like, we're going to step up this game. And
Yeah.
then in the next game, the Suns were like, all right, well, they got their one. Like, they used up all of their energy, I guess, in game 5. The Clippers did.
Yeah, I agree. And the, I don't know that I just think they must have run out of juice. Like they had
Mhm.
to come back from 2-0 in every series. They didn't have Kawhi Leonard. It's just at some point the better team's got to win, and the better team was the
Mhm.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. No, I mean, they just didn't have enough. They didn't have the guys.
And all they needed was Kawhi. It sucks
Yeah,
that
right.
it sucks that's literally the only piece they needed was one more guy off the bench. And also like game 6, Zubac's injured. They're like, you know what, DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. Throw him out there.
Yeah.
12 points again. He's
But I think
very
it's funny.
efficient.
He is very efficient. I do think it is poetic, and it makes sense to have Chris Paul win. I think the Suns will win solely based off that Chris Paul had to beat the Clippers in LA for him to go to his first finals. I just feel like that's a little poetic.
That it also sucks for Clippers fans.
Yeah,
it's like this is the guy who you thought that you thought you were gonna win a ring with back when it was him and Lob City and all those guys. Never made it out of the second round. Now he's the one beating you, so that he can get his first ring, and then you're still sitting there with nothing.
Yeah,
except
it
for
really
an injured superstar.
that might leave.
Yeah, right.
If all things go badly, it does suck for the Clippers fans, but I also don't think there's a lot of Clippers fans.
No, I was about to say, like, I don't really feel that bad.
It sucks for the 20
for like
people.
the 8 of them. But...
Yeah, the 20 people that realistically like the Clippers. That's what it sucks for.
Yeah.
But
one more thing. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say.
I was gonna wrap up.
Yeah, I'll wrap up in 1 second. My final thought talking about the fans was, you got to feel for the real fans. You got to feel for is the Milwaukee fans.
Yes.
That's all I gotta say. Come on.
Because they do have a pretty.
They
good
do have a lot of
I
fans,
think.
and I feel like they knew what the conversation that we just had, that this was supposed to be here.
Yep. Yeah, they got screwed out of it. So, condolences to them.
Yep.
But final thing I'll say about Chris Paul is that they better win this year. Because you can't have a year go this perfectly and have everything line up and have everyone praising you, saying like, oh, good for him, he finally made the finals. Better win.
Yeah, they better win. And yeah, like if they lose to an injured Bucks squad or an injured like if Trae Young's holding up the NBA trophy, Chris Paul should retire.
On like one leg, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Paul should retire.
Yeah.
He's got an ankle. But I did like that. Yeah, they better win because realistically, they should win.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to talk about some devastating news. Or not so devastating. I don't. You know what? I don't even know. I'm just gonna get on your opinions on it. You explain the whole situation with the Washington football team.
Everything? There's a lot.
Just explain everything.
So we'll start with a couple days ago when it's announced that they're gonna hire a new CEO, and it turns out it's Tanya Snyder, conveniently Dan's wife. So like that just kind of came out of the blue. It was like, okay, like what does this mean? Anyway, today or yesterday, the Wilkinson report comes out, which is the investigation into all the sexual harassment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. Nick Mertens FaceTiming me.
Sorry, Nick.
But maybe he's claiming his.
Yeah, if you want that shirt, dude. Yeah, hey, if you're calling out to get that shirt, let's go. But hey, you're kind of in the middle of something.
Yeah. Anyway, so that report comes out. It's not a written report; it's an oral report, which means no one knows like what the report actually contained, except for the NFL officials who sat there and listened to her.
Yeah.
That's never ever happened before. Deflategate was like 130 pages.
Yeah, I was about to say that's just unheard of.
Yeah. So anyway, the punishment, they're getting fined $10 million. That's it. So the NFL has basically just ignored this whole thing, allowed him to retain, not even retain, but buy more of the team. He owns the whole team. It's fined pocket change. And the one thing that's like a little bit inconvenient is he's removed from day-to-day operations for like a couple months. But his
Who he
wife
gave
is
to his
running it.
wife. Yeah, who he gave to
So
his
it
wife.
literally does not matter at all. It makes no sense. There is no punishment. And what I read, someone's like speculating that the Wilkinson report, like she probably recommended that he sell the team, and they're like, we really don't want him to sell the team, so we just won't tell anyone that. That's why it was oral.
So they think the NFL. You think the NFL said that they don't want him to sell the team?
That's what someone said. I forget who, but that's the speculation. So it sucks because it's like another day where it's like, well, he's here forever.
That's
Like there's
sad.
no chance of him leaving ever, until he
that's very
dies.
sad.
So yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, you would think with all of those, the other stupid argument they made was they didn't want to have a written report because of confidentiality, like with the victims. Just like blur out their names.
Yeah.
I don't. What's the problem there?
Do you think? What do you think would have changed if it was written? Do you think like there would just be more outrage of him?
We would actually know like what they found in the report.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
the investigation.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah, that is weird.
So like it could be way worse, or it could like actually make him look good.
And
God forbid.
This could be like, it's a bad look for the NFL.
Yeah.
Because that $10 million could be punishment for anything. It could either be, it could be good punishment, like that. All right, that's fair. Or it could be like, you're only giving out $10 million. He did this and this and this. Like that. That's bad.
To put it in perspective, I think they lost like 30 some million about 10 years ago for some cap violation. And now this 20 years of like misogynist toxic culture resulted in a $10 million fine, and he's worth like $3 billion. So it's literally like if one of us got fined like $20.
Dude, that's I mean, this is just adding on. Let's just add on to the resume of stupid shit Roger Goodell can't handle.
Mm-hmm. It made me hate Goodell almost as much as I hate Snyder.
Why?
And Snyder is my least favorite person on the planet. By far.
It's funny. Like, that your public enemy number one, your number one enemy owns your favorite football team.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, that sucks.
And he's got boys hyping him up now.
Really?
Pretty much. Well, the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, there's
protecting him. They're looking out for him.
Why? I don't understand why Goodell is. He's such a moron when it comes to any sort of situation with the NFL, where any sort of legal situation, he flops it. And he looks like an absolute buffoon.
Every time. And they still make so much money. That's why it's because it's money. It's all money. Like if Snyder wasn't worth $3 billion, then he probably might get in trouble.
It's the same thing that we talked about with the Paul brothers. It does not matter what anyone who has money does.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
We just saw a president for 4 years do whatever the hell he was doing, and nobody cares. Like nobody cares if they have all the money. It doesn't matter.
Nope, it doesn't matter.
No one's gonna get in prison. No one's gonna get kicked out of their job. Nothing matters.
Yeah. So I don't even know why I had my hopes up that like anything would actually happen. I honestly forgot the investigation was taking place because they took so damn long to finish it, just to have nothing.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about it. It showed up on Twitter and I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. I totally forgot. Yeah.
Just the fact that they didn't release anything. That it was such a big deal for so long, and no one knows what the actual results were, except for like 10 guys in suits. That's the part that pisses me off the most.
It is, and he's a repeat offender, man.
It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, and he's got the problems with the name. He is just such a smug, like he is if the Washington football team was a shirt, he would be a stain that ruins the whole thing. Nobody wants to root for them because they've just every time they can't get it right. It's because of the donkey that's running them. Because it's the absolute buffoon that is running them.
Speaking of him being a buffoon, in the statement that they released, which wasn't usually his statements are really bad. This one was like there's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that he called them the Washington Football Club, like halfway through the statement, when the letterhead says Washington Football Team established 1932, and then halfway through it's like the Washington Football Club, and people are freaking out, being like, did he just accidentally leak the new name? They're changing it from team to club, and that's what we're stuck with.
If they change the team to club, if I were like, how do you?
I don't know what I'll do. Like it's just
team to club is that's a middle finger. Team to club.
Yeah,
that's even worse than keeping it as team. Way worse. That's way worse than keeping it as team.
Way worse.
That is. I mean, probably
club sounds better, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, we did all this research.
No, but club is for leave club for soccer, dude. Nobody calls these.
That's true. Yeah.
Nobody calls these guys football clubs. They are not football clubs. That is for the Europeans to play football clubs, and that's always been like I've always realized that's the difference between the two, where it's like they call them clubs over in Europe and they call them teams here in America. And you're mixing that up, and that's just a big F you.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like I was feeling excited about football, and then I just get reminded that the whole organization is a mess.
The organization is a mess, but luckily you have the GOAT, Riverboat Ron, running it.
Yeah.
Where, like, I don't know. If I were you, I'd still be excited for football. There maybe.
I'll get over it.
Yes, you'll get over it. But at least the team on the field, not the club on the field, the team on the field will have it'll be enjoyable to watch for you, hopefully.
God knows, dude. I am getting a little excited about Heineke. There's been a lot of good things said about him. Saying that he's going to be like the next Kurt Warner.
That is next Kurt Warner. That's some juicy headlines to look at. That's a headline I could get behind. Kurt Warner.
I saw that and I was like, he could be the next
You're
Kurt
like, oh, you never.
Why not?
It's funny. One of my friends, who had a good point of view of like, and it's something you don't really think about. Where he's like, oh well, I mean, Fitzmagic might be 35 or whatever, but if he's getting into his prime now, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe he's
it's
a late
true.
bloomer.
Like his last 3 seasons have been the best of his career.
Yeah, maybe he's a late bloomer. It's like
that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
No, that's one thing that basketball stars, football stars, any stars. I guess really besides baseball because they grow through the minor leagues for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much pressure on the rookies where it's like if you don't get me into the playoffs in your first 4 years, you're on the street, find another team.
Yeah, you're done.
Where it's like back in the day, if you drafted a quarterback in the first round, you had him for like 10 years minimum to just see what happens. Well, now it's like, oh, Daniel Jones sucks. Well, Dwayne Haskins sucks. He's a bozo. But
yeah, maybe not a great example.
But because I don't think he could turn around. But
no, you can't.
Even someone like I don't know. Kirk Cousins was, a 5th round, 6th, what is he, 4th round pick?
4th, yeah.
Yeah, where nowadays, like if he started the first game, he'd be like, nah, he's garbage. Get him out of here.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So
I also saw someone on Twitter some analysts say that they were going to have the best defense in the NFL this year. So
that's something to get excited about. Their defense is very exciting to think about.
Every time I look at Jamin Davis, I'm just like, oh, he's going to be really good. I'm confident about him.
He's just built like an NFL lineman. He's just built exactly how.
He just looks so fast and strong.
Yeah, he looks.
If he has like half a brain, he'll be a good player.
Well, and he's got his job cut out for him. It's like he's the best D line in the league. He's just like, be a middle linebacker. It's not like he has to pass rush.
Yeah, and his head coach and defensive coordinator were both former middle linebackers as well.
Yeah. Yep. And his head coach built up Luke Kuechly and drafted him.
Yes. So. And Thomas Davis.
And
the whole. Oh wait, Julius Peppers wasn't a. He's D lineman. Anyway, a lot of good defensive players.
Yes, yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of hope for on the field Washington football team stuff, and I hope, in your sake, if you do, have a successful season, I hope it doesn't get undermined by another off-season mishap by Mr. Daniel Snyder.
Yeah. You know what he's supposed to be doing while he's away from day-to-day operations is building like a new stadium plan.
Yeah, I heard it's a new
Not building it, but like coming up with a new, I don't know if it's a design or if he's trying to find location, but so yeah, he's got literally now one job. That's it.
And it's a fixed FedEx Field.
Well, that's beyond repair.
Would you
beyond repair?
What if they get a new stadium before they get a new name? It's like 5 years down the line.
I'll take the stadium.
They're like, we're still trying to figure out a name, but here's a new stadium.
Yeah, just like actually we're waiting for the new stadium to release the new name as well. Let's do it all at once. It'll make it easier.
Yeah. Speaking of another NFL troublemaker, and someone who could also play for the Washington football team, Mr. Josh Gordon is back on the scene, and it's looking positive, as in he passed his test for the drug test. So,
Yeah, it's looking positive in the sense that it's negative.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, that's I've always liked Josh Gordon. I've always felt like he is clearly fighting some demons because it's not even just like the weed smoking, it's he's doing
got, like,
way worse
addiction issues.
Yes, he has an actual demons that he's fighting. So I think all making fun of Josh Gordon, of course, everyone finds funny, but he's a guy that has a lot of problems with his head, and hopefully these are good signs that he could hopefully play for another team. I do think he's really old, so he might not make a roster anyways. But I hope he doesn't get suspended again. I hope everything turns out well, because we heard this.
Yeah.
We heard this story last year. It was the same thing. Reinstated, got it all good. It was all good, and all of a sudden it crashed and burned.
Yeah. The other thing about Gordon is he doesn't seem like he's a toxic locker room guy. People are always saying that when someone is like, "Oh, let's just sign Josh Gordon." It's like, no, too much of a risk. A risk for what? I don't think he's ever blown up a locker room.
No,
yeah, and then oh well.
And to me, as an outsider, it seems like he's a very quiet guy. Seems like he minds his own business. I mean, he's he doesn't post flashy pictures on Instagram every week. He doesn't post he posts on Instagram, of course, but he doesn't post every week. He doesn't post. It doesn't seem like he posts anything about. You never see a story like Josh Gordon. Think about the Steelers locker room with all those guys, which we can actually talk about. Did you see the Devin Bush tweet we can get to later?
I did not see that. No.
Oh, that's funny. But anyways, all those guys, or just some other nutcases where it's this guy's blown to the locker room. Antonio Brown, all that crap. And it's Josh Gordon seems like he's never in any other trouble besides his addiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was something that I never understand why people are against signing him. It seems like it's low risk.
No, it is low risk.
If he plays, then that's best case scenario is he plays for you. Worst case scenario is he doesn't.
Yeah, in this moment of his career, I mean, he's going to make probably $1 million.
Yeah, you're not signing him to a 5-year, $80 million guaranteed contract.
Yeah, I could see being a risk when he was back in the day trading for him, but now it's we're way past that. He's bouncing around from team to team.
He's like Alden Smith kind of. Alden Smith came out last year with the Cowboys. I forgot he existed.
Yeah,
and he had a pretty good year.
Yeah. Would you want him on the football team?
I'll take him. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it was reunions with the Pats. I was like, I don't think they'd ever do it.
Yeah, probably not.
But and he's also. It's not I don't know. When the Pats traded for him, I was like, oh, that's another weapon. It's another weapon. Now it's just I feel like he's just kind of there. He's just kind of a body.
Yeah, just give him another shot.
Yeah, just to give him another shot. So
what did the Patriots trade for him?
Like a 7th round pick or something. Nothing big. No, nothing worth mentioning. Maybe at most a 5th. I totally forget. I can look it up right now. But I hope for the best of him.
Yeah, no, me too. It's also, I feel like the league is more fun when Josh Gordon's in it, just because he's Josh Gordon.
That's the 5th round pick. Um, what was I gonna say? Especially him with the fan controlled football league. That like he's just always fun to look at. Like
Yeah.
he's a beast to look at. And when he's catching passes, you're like, oh, it's Josh Gordon. Let's go.
Yeah.
You're like, let's go, Josh
Just
Gordon.
so exciting.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone is on his side too. Like no one's. I mean, there are people that like don't want him on their team, but no one's like rooting against Josh Gordon. You know,
I surely hope not. I doubt it, but I hope not.
at this point in his life, at
Yeah.
least, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, and no one's like, yeah, I guess you're right. No one's rooting against him. But that being said, I hope he finds a place and can go. All right. Well, the Devin Bush tweet. I just realized.
I just
Did you
looked
look
it up.
Yeah.
Is it if you're a grown man and you got TikTok on your phone? That
Yes. If you're a grown man, you got TikTok on your phone. Get away from me. Why would he tweet that? Does he not realize what is like? Is he oblivious to his locker room?
Well, and then he's like, "Don't let these people mess y'all heads up in our relationship." Not once did I mention your names. Like, I mean,
You said
again,
you were
oblivious.
Yes.
So
You-
oblivious.
that is just irony of a dumb Steelers player. Why?
He also said, "We the ones winning." Like, you guys lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Browns. So
yeah. to the team that you expect that you take pride in bullying every year.
yeah, every year.
No, that like there is no self-awareness in that tweet, and no, you can't get dumber than that tweet. I don't think.
They're a weird organization. I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on
They are
in
weird.
that locker room.
And
They're a mess.
yeah, is that like, if I was the Steelers wide receivers player, I'd be like, dude, what the hell? Everybody,
I know.
and like if I was Juju, I'd be like, dude, everyone's against me. Everyone always makes fun of me for this. You can't be going. If you a grown man with TikTok, stay the hell away from me. Like, bro, I just signed here for less money to play with the Steelers again. You bum. I guess.
Like, yeah, and if you actually don't like it, just tell me. Don't tweet about it. So passive aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, also like Devin Bush is, if Devin Bush is way better than Juju is in the player comparison,
Yes.
but it's not only Juju, it's the whole goddamn locker room. I would be pissed.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. They're all stupid.
Yeah, it's what a like talk about poopy like teams. That's just a terrible locker room.
Yeah, they're falling apart.
Especially they also have no offensive line now. The Steelers are going to be dog.
Yeah, they don't. And an 80-year-old quarterback who's broken every bone in his body and torn every ligament possible.
Every ligament in his arm too. He's got like his arm's holding on by a thread.
Yep.
He's like, oh, he'll be good again. Bounce back season.
Do have Najee Harris.
No, great. So he can get tackled for loss every time. All right. Well, I think that's. I mean, is that all we got?
The sprinter.
Oh
Marijuana
yeah.
sprinter.
Yeah.
Speaking of drugs.
The girl in the Olympics, I totally forget her name now again.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah. And Sha'Carri Richardson, poor girl, got caught. Caught positive for smoking weed, and now she can't race. I think it's pretty dumb.
I thought that like all athletes smoked weed.
I thought it like helped them. Did it not help them like recover injuries and stuff?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, like
especially Olympics, like how like stressful and strenuous that is on your body.
Yeah, and if the NFL, we just talked about how terrible the NFL is. If the NFL now allows it,
yeah, they're always last.
Yeah, they're always the last person to say anything about anything. So they should also like the Olympics should be like, all right, cool, we're fine. That's right. Yeah. Like smoke.
It's not like
also it's like
also
legal
not
in
a performance
states now.
enhancing drug either.
It's also legal in state. Like if it's legal in certain states, it should be fine for all professional sports.
You would think. I feel like weed is like the slowest thing that people are like finally catching up to. It's like, oh, maybe it's actually not as bad as we thought it was. like in sports particularly, because it
Yeah.
literally is like it's not a performance enhancing drug. It's getting legalized, so just like let the athletes use it.
And the athletes like it. I don't know, and the athletes like it. Like that's
Yeah,
the other thing.
well,
It's like,
of course they like it.
well, of course, but like I don't know. It's like everyone in the world is in agreement that it's fine.
Uh-huh.
So the fact that she's getting kicked out of the Olympics is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Also, how
What
many
it-
countries? I gotta look it up right now. How many countries is weed legal?
I have no idea.
Let me check.
What was the tweet that LaMelo said?
He said, "If it ain't crack,
Uh,
let him run."
Yeah, let him run track. If it ain't crack, let him run track.
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
to be fair, it's only
Get a little
legal
bar in there.
nationwide in Canada and Uruguay,
Oh.
but it's legalized in other parts of. I don't know. I feel like that's wrong. I don't know. It's weird because I think it gets turned into medical or other type of stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't know. There's a whole different world of weed words that I'm not sure of. But anyways, it's legal in certain countries. That means all of their athletes are doing it. Probably
Mhm.
there should be no dumb.
I don't know. I just love what she said afterwards. She
I
goes,
didn't see
"I'll
what she
be
said.
back."
Oh, nice.
She goes, "This will be the last time the Olympics don't see Sha'Carri Richardson." It's like,
That's a
yeah,
good mindset.
that's right.
That's a good mindset.
I'll be back. She's 21, so
Yeah, she'll probably run.
I only has one Olympics left though.
That's true.
Especially for runners, like those careers
Yeah.
do not last very long.
No, they get held short.
So yeah, she got screwed.
That's a shame. All right. Well, I think we're good. I think that's all we got. Well, it's been a good episode, and we'll see everybody next Tuesday. It's good. I just realized it's gonna be back on a Friday. It's gonna be back on a Friday. There might be.
Did we miss the last 2 Fridays?
Yeah, we did miss the last 2 Fridays.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be back on a Friday. The Fridays are always shorter, so if you stayed, thanks for coming, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday. This is Wise Guys. We'll see everybody